Dean, we are live across all the platforms. If all this worked out fine today. First off, I want to say thank you to all of our members and thank you for signing up. Thank you for coming into our journey and being able to go on this with us. It means the world to me.
Oh, no, that's great. And I'm not sure if I like this live format because I got to be careful how I talk and not get.
I don't know. I mean, I could say I could F-bomb it. I'm sure I will before the end of the end of the recording. I'm not going to do it right in the first 30 seconds, but hey, but we're going to start doing these formats. We're going to start doing a lot more lives. We're going to start doing a lot more recordings where it's Dean and I. We would love to invite anybody who wants to come on, talk about marketing, talk about business into these talks that we have, and that we just kind of ramble on about a lot of different stuff. Inside of the description, I will put in there after we get done with the live, we'll actually put in that description all the different stuff we talked about inside of chapters, to where if you don't want to watch this whole recording but want to watch a certain segment, then you definitely can from there. Exactly. Dean, what would you like to start off with on this?
Well, first off, I want to comment a little bit more on that. It's not just for agencies. If there's a business or some kind of business type that like to talk about their industry concerns or the size of their area, the metropolitan area, or whatever that is they're in, if they want to talk about how we can help strategize for them, I would love to have that conversation.
Oh, I would too.
I
didn't mean to say just agencies. I meant any business that wants to do it. I mean, anyone who wants to talk about business or ask marketing questions.
Right. They just have to be willing to be on camera with us and say, hey, we're here, because we don't want people to think it's not real, because this is all real. We talk about it live. We talk about it, spontaneous. You and I aren't always going to agree with each other, and we may not agree with the people that come on with us either. But that's okay. That's how we grow, and that's how we learn. So, but anyway, let's talk about what's going on today. First off, I want to say we just grew some more international. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we just grew into the island of Aruba. We just had an agency sign up down there, and I'm excited about that, to see that we're reaching. And it's not just an agency, it's not a big agency, but it's small businesses, because it's really tourist attracted area, and they have to be found. I mean, they don't have like repeat people. So what we're going to do is hopefully help them out and get people seen better on searches. But I was really excited to see that new member sign up yesterday from Aruba. And so if you're watching, welcome, and love to
welcome.
Yes. So
I mean, I freaked our team out the other day because I called us two fat crazy guys, and they refused to. Like, are you really sure you want to call it two fat guys? I'm like, yeah. I mean, that's what we are. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no. And you and I, we made joke. I mean, I wish I wasn't as big as I am, but I have to blow out some old pictures sometime when I used to rock climb and do all those other things in Colorado that I used to do, but I can't do that anymore because the ropes aren't heavy enough for me. So, and we have to have a pulley system to get me up anymore. Anyway.
And a defibrillator to get you back started after you stroke out. But I mean, what I talk about in a lot of our videos, we're not typical to this industry. So we've actually been told multiple times that you can't do what you're doing. You're not part of the Good Old Boy Network. You cannot be giving this away for free like you are. Our free program does what a lot of big platforms do, and they charge for it. I'm not going to name who they are because I just don't think that's right. But I mean, it's one of those things to where you and I inside of this journey have been told multiple times, you're not part of the, the Good Old Boy Network. And when we open that can of worms and we look at that, it's because we looked at this in a different way. We tried to go out to the different platforms that were out there. We tried doing what's called a white label. We tried to take our interface and put it on top of it and be able to make it work for how we saw this dream. And nobody's interface would work because it didn't really do what it was supposed to do. So being you and I's background, we decided to take it, do it from all the way from scratch and do it our way, which we rely on no third-party network to be able to send the data out to up to 300 networks. We don't do anything.
Let's talk about our journey a little bit. You talk about we're not the same as everybody else. We're not, because we have a whole different perspective. I mean, you and I have both in the corporate world. I've been with Fortune 100 companies, Fortune 500 companies. You were with a big company back in the day, which the day was the AOL phenomena, if you will. I mean, you
AOL, were Prodigy, CompuServe,
you were, and we just didn't fit that mold real. I mean, did we do okay? We survived in that, but we didn't fit that mold. We have a whole different perspective, and I think that's what sets us apart, because we think like small business owners, entrepreneurs. And I think, I really am a true believer that that's the lifeblood of our country and a lot of countries, is the small industries, the small businesses employ and keep more people busy than the big corporations. Big corporations are necessary because they are, I mean, and they have their place, but that isn't what we were after. That isn't who we were after. We weren't after the big agencies. We were after I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but we're after the mom and pop shops, the startup entrepreneurs, third family. Like I have a family business. We're in the third generation now. I mean, that group of people just think differently than the corporate strategists or the agencies that do marketing in traditional manners, and that's what kind of makes us different. It
does. I mean, I've had the opportunity to go advise on a marketing level to a lot of Fortune 500s. I think a couple might actually be Fortune 100s. And I told them, before I'm going to come in, I'm going to advise you. And before I go to your boardroom, or if I get onto a camera, I mean, I'm sitting with where I homeschooled. I probably only went through the 9th grade. I have my GED. I touched college a little bit, but really, I mean, my school was sitting and doing taxes for the family business. I grew up in family business, grew up going on sales calls and being inside of the furniture world. So, I mean, I grew up in the small business world. So when I got introduced when I was a kid, when I look back at that and I walked into the corporate world, it was like getting hit with a lead balloon, because I was used to doing shit my way and not everybody else's, which makes me a great entrepreneur. But it's one of those things to where, I mean, I started programming back in 1995. I got asked during when I was going out and I was going to get in the real world. I got asked if I knew any languages, and I said I know about 120, 150. And they looked at me really weird, and I was like, "Well, why are you looking at me so weird? Like, well, what are they?" And I said, "Well, Java, C++." I started naming off all my programming languages, and like, no, like English, Spanish. Oh, I don't know English very well, and I definitely don't know Spanish. I didn't get that job.
At least you don't say I know English good, but
I mean, we beat to that other drum, that different drum, which I think is what makes us unique to a small business. I mean, if you look at the SBA says, I think, don't quote me on this, I think they say that 2,000 employees or 5,000 employees or less is considered a small business. I disagree on that.
Yeah, I think it's actually 500. I think the last time I read something, but that's the thing is, that's the whole thing about what we're talking about with marketing and advertising.
Alexa.
Oh, you gonna ask her?
What? Do I have her plugged in?
Oh, you
nope, I don't have her plugged in.
She starts to talk to you during some of these things sometimes. And then you got to yell and tell her to quit talking. But the thing is everybody gets into business for different reasons. I'm really proud. I got invited to talk at a webinar this weekend for the counselors and the psychology world of counseling for private practice people. They're really intelligent people. They know nothing about marketing, so that's why they've asked me to come talk to them a little bit, and I'm excited about that. Hopefully, I don't fumble mouth, but I could. But
I mean, but that's what makes it real, Dean.
Yeah,
and I think that's what makes most people. So if anybody's watching this and they actually want to be able to participate and watch what we're doing, we are real. We don't rehearse anything. If you watch any of my YouTube videos, because I cannot get you in front of a camera for the life of me, but it's one of those things. If you watch them, I don't do them from script. I get told by our video guy all the time, "Hey, guess what? You contradicted yourself there." And I said, "Well, kind of, not really, but yeah, maybe." And it's on different things, because I'll read a report and I'll see it. And I mean, the stats of the whole entire marketing world, but most businesses are terrified of making a mistake.
Right.
And when people decide that they need us and they decide that they are ready to be able to come on with us to be able to get found, we've taken multiple of these phone calls today. And definitely a lot. I've seen an increase, and I think it's because we're entering into the recession area. And we built this originally. My whole thought process behind it was that we were going to be in a recession. We were going to help a lot of small businesses stay alive, keep going down the road. But what happens is a lot of these business owners, they call us. I had a guy today call me from an HVAC company. He said, I have $300 to my name. I need 10 leads. I need them all to close. I need them all to close for $3,000 or I'm done. And I said, just out of curiosity, do you have Google Business Profile already set up? Yeah, but it got suspended. Well, when did it get suspended? 6 weeks ago.
Right.
I can work magic, but I cannot work miracles.
Yeah. And the problem is we are not an instantaneous fix. I mean, what our solution is not an instantaneous. It's we've had this conversation before. It's not a sprint. It's not coupons being mailed out. It's not door hangers. It's not an ad in a magazine. It is organic, and organic takes time. But I think the long-term value of that is so much better. But if you're in trouble and you're down to your last $300, we're not going to help you. We're not. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean, I don't know many things that would help you, especially if you're not being found in the digital world, especially today. If you're suspended, get yourself unsuspended. You're killing yourself. I mean,
you're absolutely going to kill yourself. I mean, I've had my failures inside of business. You've had your failures. I've had more failures, I think, than you have. Where I launched things out and they didn't work, but I've also tried a lot more businesses than you have. Right. And it sucks to be in those shoes. And I feel for any business that's at that point, but I don't want anybody to think that it's just going to be boom, you come in and everything works perfect. We see those. So don't get me wrong on that, but we see those. But the average time that it takes is about 45 to 50 days to really see the real true benefits from it. And a lot of people are like, well, I mean, does the voice search world really work? Does this really work out there? How does that work? And now that Alexa's back up, I'm actually going to ask Alexa a question real quick to show you kind of what that voice search world is like.
All right.
And so while we're talking about HVAC, Alexa, find an HVAC company near me.
I found a Henry's Vac and Sew. Henry's Vac and Sew is 6.1 miles away on 2929 11th Avenue in Evans.
Alexa, stop. So I asked for an HVAC company. So this is where it's not perfect. Voice search is not perfect at all. It wanted to go find that. So if I change that and I say, Alexa, find an air conditioning company near me.
I found a few nearby options. There's Comfort by Nature, 1.4 miles away on 10th Street, Unit 80634. TLC Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning, 1.4 miles away on West 10th Street, Unit 7. And Mountain States Heat and Air, 2.7 miles away on 47th Avenue.
So none of those are members of ours, but I'm going to ask another question, which this brings up a really interesting point.
Well, that one was a cleaning, a duct cleaning service.
Yep.
So they've either done something in their wording, their content, which is really important because that's where we talk about content and authority. They may have said certain things about air conditioning ducts or whatever, and they're getting found because they put out content. And that's what we're always talking about with the content and putting out information about your business, because you don't know what voice is going to grab.
You never know. And sometimes it's what you've been talking about, what you've searched, where your IP address is. There's a lot of variables that come into that. The next really cool thing that I'm seeing a lot of people doing with voice search recently is, Alexa, can you give me the reviews for those last results? Alexa, what are the reviews from the last results?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa, find an air conditioning company near me.
I found a Bryden Air Conditioning and Heating. Bryden Air Conditioning and Heating is 3.1 miles away on 2032 35th Avenue, Suite A in Greeley. It is open 24 hours today.
Alexa, what are their reviews?
I
can help you shop for everyday items. Try saying things like,
Alexa,
order AA batteries.
Alexa, Alexa, tell me the reviews for an HVAC company near me.
From HomeyAdvisor.com, Tybee Island HVAC and air conditioning contractors are rated 5.0 out of 5 based on 27 reviews of 27 pros.
So what I've seen inside of this, I've seen it go to now Home Advisors and pull out their leads. I've seen it go to Angie's List. I've seen it go to Google Business Profile. I saw it go to Yelp the other day, which I can't stand those guys in a lot of ways, but we won't even get on that.
They're still a necessary evil, unfortunately.
They are. But I mean, it's one of those things to where voice search isn't perfect. So when you're doing local SEO, it's all about being able to get yourself as many opportunities as you possibly can. Does it mean you're going to be number one every time? No. Everybody wants to be that number one spot all the time. It doesn't mean you're going to be there. Just like on a Google search or a Bing search or even a Yahoo or DuckDuckGo search.
Yeah, if you were listening, you asked the same question twice. Find an air conditioning company near me. You didn't respond to the first three that it gave you responses to. So therefore, when you ask the second time, it's thinking, so it's learning your thought process too. And that's where people get really hung up. So you ask that same question again, go, oh, I didn't get those all written down. So you ask the question again, but you didn't say, go to one of those. It started with a whole new group of people, of businesses, because it learned that, oh, those first three weren't what you were looking for. They weren't close enough or whatever. Who knows what the thought process is. But, so that's where the voice search registration thing is really weird, because that's the term that a lot of people are using, but it's not a linear definitive science at this point yet. It's still a little bit of a based on and even when you use your computer, you get your browsing history going on, you change the way those searches happen based on your history as well. So
you do.
That's why it's really not a perfect science, and that's the hard part that people don't understand.
Can our system help you rank inside of the search results, especially inside of Google, inside of Bing, inside of Yahoo, any of those things? Yes. Can we get you on Apple Maps? Yes. And it's about giving you those opportunities. So it's all going to be based on what you're doing. And I hear a lot of business owners say, hey, I'm too busy for being able to do this. I cannot, I don't have the time to do it. That's why we came up with the done for you package, which we talked about on that last video we did. So I don't want to make this a lot about that, but it's one of those things to where you have to be able to tell the search engines, this is the data that I have about my business. It's going to pull from your website. It's going to pull from your posts that you do on Google. It's going to pull from the posts you do on Facebook. By the way, you can do both those inside of our platform. It's going to pull from your data on questions and answers. And this is where your data is really turning into that advertising to be able to get your business out there and get you found in front of more local customers that are searching for the products and services and what you sell. And that's really what we dived into. You and I's goal was to be able to help small business owners be able to do their own marketing, cut through the bullshit, and be able to make it affordable for them and get them found and get them actual real results that they want. So that would be sales. That'd be more phone calls. There'd be more leads coming in, not a bunch of, hey, you got this many likes today, because that's not what makes a business profitable. I mean, you and I had a full conversation earlier about cost accounting and how there's so many people who just don't get cost accounting. No. And I've never been able to pay my electric bill. I've never been able to pay one of my daughter's events or anything by saying, well, I've got this many likes on YouTube and I got this many likes on Facebook. What's that going to give me? You have to be able to have money coming in. And that is what our platform focuses on.
So I belong to, we belong to a couple chambers and we go to their leads groups and stuff. And I love everybody to death, and they do. Some people are really successful, some are struggling, whatever. But one of the things that happens is a couple of people get up and they go, "I got 3 great reviews." And they read me the 3 reviews, and I go, "Okay, that's wonderful. You got those 3 reviews. I just did a search for your industry type, and you weren't even listed, so I can't even make a decision because that's what the reviews are. It's a decision, the referral process, how to make a decision to choose a business. But if you're not being found, those wonderful reviews don't help. I mean, they don't hurt you. I shouldn't say they don't help you, but they don't improve your position of getting that call from the motivated customer. And that's really the bottom line is, people are coming, they're motivated when they use the digital search process or the voice search process, in my opinion.
Well, I think that's a good point, Dean. And I've never been able, like I said, I've never been able to pay for it with a like anywhere. I've also never, you never know how, I guess I'm going to be tongue twist on this one, but you never know how much it's really truly costing you on not being found.
Right.
So I want everybody to really think about that. So if you do a search for the products and services you sell right now, so if you said, hey, find Alexa, find an auto repair shop near me. And if you're an auto repair shop and you're not coming up, how much is that costing you?
Exactly. Especially
if with something bizarre.
I found nearby options. There's the wrench automotive.
Alexa. But it's one of those things to where if you're not being found, I don't care what device you're on. I don't care if you're on your computer, if you're on your mobile phone. I don't care if you are on your desktop making a search.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
I'm sure you're not. But if you're not being found, what is that costing you? So when you do that search, just as if you were a customer, now you got to be careful searching yourself too much, because if nobody's clicking on you, all these devices are going to learn what's called an algorithm, is going to learn that you weren't a good result, and they want to be able to deliver the best. They're aimed to please to be able to get you the best result possible.
That's exactly right. You know, and all of a sudden I got choked up over that one. But
well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry.
I'm cutting onions while I'm sous chefing over here right now. But no, you're absolutely right. You know, you can teach yourself, you teach your devices. We've beat that up a little bit now, but I wanted to go back because we kind of started talking about something. If you're okay with me switching the topic a little bit right now. All right.
New chapter.
All right. New chapter. All right. So let's go back to businesses that are scared to make a mistake. I have helped coach several people in the last week. They signed up for our product and, you know, our services, for our tools, our platform. And they are scared to push the publish button. And I said, you can't get anything out there, you know, and I get that. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. I mean, we talk about it, it's not for tech savvy people, but everybody needs to understand that if you push the button to publish something, we can undo it. If it's something, we can undo that.
And no.
Well, you got to be careful not to get. I shouldn't say we can undo it.
If you are a counselor and you are not hiding your address and you work out of your house and you put your address inside of our system, everybody's going to know your home address, and you are going to have some crazy person show up there.
Oh, yeah, so, like our bail bondsman that they showed up at his house because he put it out there. I didn't want people to know where I live, but you're right on that part. That's one of the things that once the genie's out of the bottle, you can't put it back in. But what I'm talking about is more of your content, your questions and answers. Because
questions and answers, we can do that all day.
Right. You know, there's just certain
we can do that all day.
Yeah. And you can change your categories up if you need to. You do all those things. The service, so we go back to the name, address, phone number. The address thing, if you want to be hidden, you've got to make sure that you always stay hidden, because if you open that up, people are going to be able to see it. Now, the thing is, though, is if most states, when you file a business, you have to put your address where you're working out of anyway. If somebody really wants to find you, they can, but it isn't in front of the public when they're doing the searches kind of thing. And that's the difference.
And once you put it inside of our system, so everybody knows this, when you put it in here, and this is a good thing and it can be a bad thing, right, it automatically goes out. And when it goes out, it starts linking. So it naturally gets your business found organically. And I think this is a very important piece to our whole system, is we put it out. We have networks we go to, and then we post it out to, and then where it does. And that's all proprietary. Now, said that name wrong, but it is all ours. And what happens is when we go out to these certain networks and we start building it out, it starts branching out. So local SEO is a very wide open thing. Google pulls information from other networks. A lot of people don't realize that. Bing pulls from multiple networks. They pull from Facebook. They pull from Yelp. They pull from a lot of different spots, which we do not work with Yelp. They wanted $1 million for us to be able to partner with them, and they wanted us to pay for ads, and we're not willing to pay for ads. It's why we're not a Google partner either. It's because we don't pay for ads, because we don't think you should be spending money on ads. But that's our opinion.
Right. So let's go back real quick when you said with our name, address, phone number. The one saving grace is if you say you didn't hide your phone number and you hit save.
You can't hide your phone number.
Not your phone number, your address. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Nice catch. That's part of it. But when you put your address out there, and let's say you don't show the do not display address, and you hit this to save it, we don't publish but once a day. So that would give, so if you make that mistake, you can still go back and fix it. It isn't instantaneous.
Unless you do it at 11:59 p.m.
Yeah, there you go. Good point. Because at 12 o'clock midnight, we send all that data out. So if you made a mistake and you wake up at 11 o'clock and go, oh, I turned something on I didn't want on, you can still save yourself up until that point. And then 11:59 Mountain Time, by the way.
Right.
It's, okay. So
and it actually probably collects the data around somewhere between 11:30 and 11:45.
Right.
It captures that data. So I would say don't make any changes after 11 p.m. if you think you're going to make a mistake. But don't be fearful. Most of it, we can put it back in. If we're not talking your address, we can put everything back. We can help you. If you say something wrong, you post something wrong, and you get suspended and you're a member, we can help you be able to get that on suspension done.
Right.
So, I mean, it's one of those things to where, but if you don't do anything, it's hurting your business. And that's going to make it really super hard for you to be able to get out there and be able to do a lot of things and get in front of a lot of places, because you have to be able to make sure you're getting found. And it's going to depend on the 3 pillars that I talk about all the time. Those 3 pillars are what, Dean?
Oh, don't put me on the spot like that.
Content, authority, and trust.
I couldn't memorize my lines when I was in the theater, so don't even ask me to memorize.
I can't memorize shit, but I can memorize that. So there we go.
But the 3 pillars are really important. But the biggest thing is, Rob, is they need to also understand not to do certain things on posts. I mean, don't put phone numbers inside the post. Don't put phone numbers and website information on your photos.
Any contact information, phone, address, website address, any of that can't be inside your photos, and it cannot be inside of any of your posts. It cannot be in your business description, and it cannot be in any of your questions and answers. That will automatically block you from about 92% of our network.
But what about questions and answers? Same deal, right? Okay, so we helped a gentleman out, and he was suspended, and he'd been trying to get things back. And we went in and looked at his profile after he became a member. We looked at it and said, hey, take your website address out, take a couple of things that were sales pitchy, that were spammy sounding out of the business description, and he was approved within an hour. Now, It doesn't always happen, but
doesn't always happen.
No, that was a good one. He goes, how'd you guys do that? I've been trying for weeks to get this done. And you guys just helped me out, and in one day we're fixed. I wish we could say that happens all the time, but that's the whole point of it is we get a chance to, you become a member, we get a chance to look over your stuff, and then we can help you determine what you should do to get the steps taken care of.
Yep.
To fix it. So,
and one really cool thing, I'm not sure if it's going to stay around or not. We're going to see how it goes. If anybody has noticed inside of the platform, we actually added a chat function to where you can talk to us coaches directly right from the chat.
Yes, and then it'll be interesting to see how busy we get with that one.
I'm kind of curious to see what it does. It's either going to be a blessing or not. If it gets too crazy, we can't handle it, I'll end up shutting that off or limiting it out for when it's up. But I'm really excited to see. So if you're watching this and you want to be able to chat with us, that's all you have to do is just open the chat. Does not mean we're there 24/7. It may show up 24/7. But we will see your message and get back to you. So if you get lost, you have anything, you have support to be able to help you inside your business.
Right.
So when you talk about the fear of being afraid of doing anything, you got to remember that we're here to be able to support you. That's our entire piece. So if you don't feel like any question is a dumb question, except for that question you didn't ask.
Right. And let's talk about the support function real quick, Rob. The other thing that happens with our people that are on the pro plan, they can ask for content through the support system. Just say, hey, I need help with this post talking about this and this and this. And we are happy to give them four or five suggestions. And we don't put it out there for you. Again, we don't do the work for you. Everybody has to remember that we don't do it for you.
Unless you're subscribed to the done for you plan.
Yeah. Good point. I keep forgetting about that one because we've had a bunch of people say, I got to go hire somebody, but they don't want to hire somebody for the full rate just to do that. So that's where the done for you works well for those people. But the big thing is we don't, if you're on the pro plan and we're coaching you on anything, we don't put it out there for you. We provide you what we think are good response, a good content, and then it's up to you to edit it based on your customer your business and services. You know your business, you know your customers better than we do. You know your service area. So you modify it, or you may say this is perfect, and they put it in just the way it is. I've seen that happen before too. But
I have too. So
you know,
some things I've been asked for from pro members and people who have members that have came to ask for some stuff this week. I had somebody ask, I've got these following errors inside of my Google console for my website. How do I handle that? We responded to it. I had someone say, hey, can you review our website and give us some pointers? We want to design our own website. We don't want to hire you guys to design our website, but can you give me some pointers? We gave them some pointers, gave them some SEO aspects, some keywords to target, some topics for blogs. It's those types of things are going to be huge. What should I say? Should I post out to Google? How often? How often should I be posting to Facebook? How could I change my business description? Then the biggest one I absolutely love that I did right before we hopped on this call is somebody asked, hey, I got a horrible review. How should I reply to this?
Oh, I didn't. First I've heard about that.
Yep. So we provided 3 different ways of handling it.
Right.
It took the emotion out of it for that business owner, made it simple for them to be able to do it and for them to be able to post. So I hope if you're watching, I hope that helped you, and I hope it did really well. But you can ask us any marketing question you want when you're on the pro plan, and that's only $80 a month at the time of recording this.
Right, exactly. And
I don't know where else you're going to get that.
Yeah. So here's the other thing. You just said the 1-star review, and we've said this more than once. Congratulations on the 1-star review. Not because something happens. Things always happen somewhere. It's how you respond to it. But as a business owner, and somebody calls you a name, they say you're stupid, you didn't know what you're doing, yeah, whatever.
We have members we have a couple of members that have been pain in our butt that you guys are just dumb and stupid. I'm sorry I asked the question.
I think the key word was you guys are a bunch of idiots, wasn't it? Or something like that.
It was. And he got really upset. He got really upset over AI, and I'm going to just throw it out there, and ended up saying Jesus, and then it thought his name was Jesus. And I mean, when we've had people get mad at us, I'm not going to make everybody happy. I make a lot of people really angry on YouTube. I get lots of thumbs down. I'm sure this video is going to get some of those as we are out there. Yeah, people. I bring it out of them. I make people angry.
So everybody, if you want the truth, the honest, brutal truth, talk to Rob. If you want somebody that's more passive and wants to make it right, talk to me. That's not true though. I mean, we're both of a heritage that if we lose our stuff, it's not fun to be around either one of us because we yell and scream like a bunch of idiots.
I've never yelled and screamed.
But you know that's what it's all. I mean. Rob and I are kind of the yin and yang of business. I mean, I'm older. I'm a little more tempered than Rob is. Rob is more insightful about some of the new technologies and things like that. And that's what brings us and makes us really unique because I've had my own business now for 30 years. I had entrepreneurial trends before I went. So Rob talks about his educational background. I became a process manufacturing engineer, got a master's degree, and I did all these other things. So I bring a different set of skill sets and a way of looking at it than Rob does. Rob sees things from a whole different perspective. He's very technical when it comes to the why does this algorithm talk to this, and he pays attention to the how the programming has to work to talk to Google, to Bing, and he talks to our developers. I mean, he is more in tune with the platform idiosyncrasies and those kinds of things than I am. But I look at it as I don't care. I just want it to work. So I look at it from a little different perspective, and that's what And
just FYI, he's the test dummy.
Yeah, I am. I'm the idiot.
He gets on there. What the hell did you guys do that for? What I don't understand any of this. He watches one video of mine 6 months and then goes, I didn't get what you were talking about. Which video? Well, that video you did. We have like 500 videos. Which one?
Today, the dev team asked me to do something. I go, what are you talking about? I'm totally confused. What is it that you want from me? I don't know. And then they explain it. I go, oh, I get it. But they had to put it in my lingo. But they were talking in the technology lingo, and it just didn't talk to me. It doesn't resonate with me. And so, so I bring a different perspective. about how business, how, the interaction. And also, if I can pick up my cell phone and take a picture and send a text, that means that if you can do the same thing, you can put it on our platform and make it work. I mean, we made it so that I can do it. I've screwed some things up for myself, but I've gone back and fixed it. And
he's also not done the to-do list before and then complained that he didn't have enough business coming into his other business. And I was like, well, when's the last time you posted? When's the last time you did this? And I mean, he goes, I haven't. So, I mean, as a business owner, you are going to do that. And our platform, if you've done it before and you use the platform, it's fast to get back on your track because you have that proven data inside of there. So coming back is a lot easier than if you haven't done it. So if you are in that struggling mode, there is hope. There is stuff that you could do. We just don't ever guarantee. We're not salespeople. I mean, I've got a sales background more than Dean has a sales background, but I'm not here to sell anybody. I got asked the other day, well, why? I mean, you guys could probably be closing a lot more business. You get a lot more enterprise clients if you're out there hard selling. And I'm like, I don't have it in me anymore. Yeah. I want to be able to sleep at night. I want to be able to run into you at the grocery store, or when I'm on a trip. I ran into a couple people when I was on a trip to Florida that knew who I was. They came up to me, and I had one person come up to me inside of Mexico when I did that trip, and they came up and said, hey, I know you from YouTube. I want to be able to look at you straight and go, well, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Great. You love my videos? Rock on. Or, hey, you're a member of ours? Great. I mean, that's totally new to me, but I don't want to ever have to ditch you and run from you because, oh, my God, we ripped you off and we ran out the door, because that is not who we are.
No, it is not. I mean, I had what we call it in the chamber world, we call it a buddy meeting. And you just had one too, and we both we were there, and you were supposed to talk about your business. What you do is basically a get to know you amongst the community, and we have several thousands of businesses in our community, but not everybody. You don't get a chance to meet everybody, and we're just talking, and pretty soon the person looked over and says, "Aren't you going to try to close a sale on me?" I said, "No. Either we work for you, or we don't work for you." Or this is a need that we're going to fill for you. And I think you kind of had the same thing happen with one of your one-on-one meetings, Rob.
Like, well, aren't you going to try to close me? That's where it came up with, why aren't you hard closing people? I don't do that.
Right.
I hate to break it, but and sound like an asshole, but I am the asshole of the group most of the time. So, I mean, I'm gonna say what it is. My family eats regardless if you sign up or not. I don't. I'm here to be able to help you. Yes, I'm here to make money. Yes, I want to be able to do all that, but I'm not going to bend you over. It's kind of like, that's the whole reason I get asked all the time, well, what kind of contract does Simply Be Found have? What kind of contract are you going to put me in? We don't have one. Right. If you sign up for a year, you have the year. There's no refunds. There's none of that. So you have that year. But if you sign up for month to month, we want to earn your business every month. Just like if you sign up for a year, we want you to sign up for another year. And we want to earn your business every year. We don't want to make you mad. We don't want to not deliver. We want you to be able to get found, be able to advertise your business, be able to get your business to rank, and be able to get your business to go to that next level.
Right. So that takes me to another conversation. I get a lot of calls where people, because you can call up and set up a time to meet with one of our coaches, and usually you get Rob or myself. They call you back because
you 92% of them.
Yeah. And the conversation came up today is, well, what can you do to help my business? I said, I don't know exactly what we can do to help your business. I don't know your business. I don't know your situation. I said, but spend $25, give it a try. I mean, I go out and buy a burger and a drink, and it's $25, and it didn't help my business at all. But I spent
$25 in 2 days at the coffee shop if I go for my wife. I feel like.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, remember, if you don't have your coffee, people live longer. If you do have your coffee, people live longer. That's the word. That's why I wanted to say it. Anyway,
if I don't go get her coffee, then I have to deal with that. I'm not interested.
No, you're not. I hear you. But no, but the thing is, spend the $25. Try it. Like I said, you know what? We have a free plan.
That's $25 you'll ever spend.
Exactly. And I get you out there and get you on the. May not change things immediately, but if you don't like the platform, you don't like it, we've already started the process where it's going to help you on the voice search and all those networks already, because that's starting to get pushed out there for that 30 days that you belong to us. But I said, but if you don't if you don't know what you want to do or you don't know if your platform, I said, sign up for free. They said, well, what kind of credit card do you need? I said, none. It's a free deal forever. There's no credit card required. If you want to use the platform because it's just easy to use it. I mean, and if you like it and you discover you need more, then step up to the next level. If you decide that next level is not good for you, you can go back to free. We don't. I mean, that's what people don't understand.
Plans all the time. I see people all the time. So when I look at data points, Dean, I see people signing up for the pro plan, getting coaching, getting that advice. They go, I got this. They go to the $25 plan, and then it goes to off season. Then they switch over to be on the free plan, which I don't always recommend. You're going to lose some of that momentum on a lot of the networks.
Right, I agree.
And then they bounce back, but we never take your information down. It's just that authority pieces. We ping your networks every single day. That brings you authority. That brings you value inside of there. In my opinion, that's what I'm seeing inside of the market. I've been told I can't say that necessarily, so I always say it's my opinion, but it's one of those things to where you can change plans. You can sign up for us doing it for you, and the next month you give it a shot. And if you fail at it and you don't post anything whatsoever and business goes down, well, it's probably worth the $800 to sign back up. Let us catch you back up.
And you know what? And we have one seasonal guy that's in Chicago that wants us to do it for him, and because it's seasonal for him, he goes, I don't have time to do this stuff. But when it's off season, he has time to do these things. So he goes.
And if he has that blueprint, Dean, if he has the blueprint of what we've been doing, and he goes to that off season, he can look back and say, okay, this is what I need to do, and he can schedule his whole entire year out while it's during that downtime. Now, a lot of business owners will have something else happen, and I'm guilty of this as well. It's kind of like taxes. I wait till the very last minute to do my taxes. It happens every year. I'm not as bad as I once was when I showed up at my accountant's office with a shoebox full of receipts, because we now live in a better digital world than where we once were. But that is a small business owner. That is, and most of our businesses have 25 employees or less. A lot of them are solo. We work for anybody in any industry as long as you can have a Google business profile and you are looking for local customers.
Right. And, and it's really, I don't want people to think that just because I remember this one person, that person, everybody's important to us. But you and I, we have a unique way of connecting with most of the businesses that we've talked to. I mean, there's some of them that have signed up. I don't even know they exist really, unless I go, and let's say ask for some help on support or something.
Right.
But the thing of it is you and I just had a conversation today on another call just before we got on this, and I said, we've had this conversation before, haven't we? It seems really familiar. It was, oh yeah, I called you about 3 months ago, and now he's getting ready to pull the trigger. Great. I'm still glad that we're still on his radar, and he wants to, but I go, we've had this conversation before. Yeah. You're located here. And he goes, oh yeah, you remember, and you and I have that unique ability to remember some things. So if you do have something unique, a lot of times if you call back up, and you get if I'm helping you or Rob's helping you, and you get one of us, the same person again, chances are we're going to be able to help you. The other thing too is Rob and I discuss things amongst each other, because we talk about different scenarios, because it is a lot of it is understanding what's happening, the touchy-feely part of it. It's not truly analytic out there all the time. And we'll say, you know what, we're seeing this happening with this member. What's your thought? And we talk about it and said, oh, I never thought about that before. We've discovered things that nobody else is paying attention to because we look at it from a different perspective. And
that's what gives us a big, huge advantage as well, because we can see different opportunities where we're getting ready to go hot. And I look at data. I know you look at data from talking to people. You don't look at the actual reports. I actually look at reports and big, huge chunks of data. And I look at what the search behavior is and what's going to get someone to rank in the whole entire analytical side. And we don't have reports inside of our platform, but I look at reports that we generate based on your data that you have and then what's going to make everything work. And I look at it in a big whole, especially by different industry types. But where was I going with this?
I know we were talking about the analytics.
It allows us to be able to pivot and be able to put changes in place to be able to help your data get in the right spots. That's where I was going with that. I just totally had a brain fart completely.
So, all right. I'm glad we don't have
your old agency. Your old age is kicking over to me, damn it.
You haven't lost your keys today, have you? That's my favorite trick. I don't know where I did my keys. They're around here somewhere.
Oh, I thought you asked if I lost my teeth.
Your teeth? Oh, no. Your keys.
And just for the record, I get asked this all the time if you're my dad, and we're not related at all.
Oh, no, we're not. We're not. Even though I think I'm a year older than your dad, actually. So
I don't know.
You don't know that. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We don't have to compare ages. But I know I'm fatter than he is, so that's okay. So
I mean, but it's one of those things to where if you want your business to get found, you want to be found on more than just Google. Let's end with kind of what that piece is. Let's talk about that. And we probably will have another topic after that if we keep rambling on.
I know. We'll find something to talk about.
It's important for your business to be found on more than just Google. Dean, what's your opinion on that?
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I mean, you say I don't pay attention to the analytics like you do, but I do watch some of the statistics and trends. Last time I saw, at one point, Google searches for customers looking for businesses and services was about 52% of all the searches. Search engine results, I think it's down to 46 now. So that means some of the other networks are starting to take over some of that market share. But that doesn't mean it's going to stay there. It may shift back again, but there's still, even if they stay at 50%, there's still 50% you're missing out on if you're not on all the networks. So it's got to be more than Google, guys. I mean, most businesses have Microsoft Edge, and they use Bing as a search engine. Did I get that right? Did I get that right, Rob?
Yep.
He gives me more crap because I don't know the difference between a search engine and a platform. A browser. That's the word. That's the other word. I don't know.
Well, here's my philosophy on this. I talked with a business owner. He has not made the decision to come on with us. It was a sales call. He goes, "Great. I hired an agency. They're absolutely just doing everything for me."
Right.
And I don't, he goes, and we're doing really well on Google. We're doing Google AdWords. We're rocking it. I said, "Well, how much you spend on Google AdWords?" He goes, "About $3,000 a week."
What?
Yeah.
What?
And he's a roofing company. He goes, "And we're kicking butt on Google." And I said, "Awesome. Pull up a Bing search and search for yourself." He didn't come up. I said, "Great. What kind of phone do you use?" He goes, "I use an Apple iPhone." I said, "Great. When we got this call, I want you to ask Siri to find a roofer near you, and I want you to be in your location." He goes, "Okay." He called me back, and he goes, "I wasn't found." He goes, "This is horse shit. I'm going to be talking to my agency about this and figure out what we're going to do for it." That was about 2 weeks ago that we had that conversation. He called again yesterday, and when I'm probably going to go with you, I'm just waiting to be able to get a final answer when I can get out of my contract with them, because they don't know anything but Google. They're like, Google's the main powerhouse. And he goes, "I searched it, and they're not. You have AI SEO, you have Bing, you have Apple, you have Siri, you have Cortana, you have Bixby. You have all these places. And how much is it costing you to only be found on Google? Because Google's not the only player in town. And if you're not being found on those other networks, even did a search inside of Bing. This is a kick butt thing. I absolutely I feel bad for him, but I loved is he did a search for his own business name. 3 other businesses that he competes with came up, and he was nowhere to be found.
It sounds a lot like the scenario that started this whole thing for when you asked me how my business was doing.
100%.
It's the same. I mean, that was 4 years ago.
And we didn't know voice search was going to take off where it is today.
Right, exactly. We didn't predict voice search. The pandemic, I think, escalated that and sped that, exponentially sped that up. But it was going to go there anyway. I mean, all the trends when I started reading some of the old reports, that was going that way anyway. But after the pandemic, it went up because people became more familiar, more comfortable with the devices, especially their phones and their voice search devices, and that really escalated the process. Then AI came on board and it's changed the whole thing again. And I know we're going to start a whole other project. We're starting down another path. But the thing, what I'm trying to say is, you can't, so I'm going to use one of my analogies. I know I make you crazy with some of these things sometimes, Rob, but the Reuben thing, when I was younger, the BC years, and I call that the before children years, when I got the opportunity to go scuba diving in Aruba, and they use the term divvy down there, which is a tree, and it bends with the wind. I mean, it doesn't try to fight what's going on. And the analogy that they kind of talked about, they said, you can't be a mighty oak tree and live in Aruba like the marketing and advertising does, because it has to bend with the forces that are making it go. If it doesn't, it's going to uproot itself and fall over. And I think that's where a lot of agencies, a lot of marketing people are going these days with my analogy. I'm sorry. But the divvy tree, it actually bends with the wind. It actually conforms, and it goes, okay, this is what you want me to do. I'm going to go with it. And I think that's what we do. We go with the trends. I mean, that's why we pivot, and we don't have a board. We don't have all these other people to go with. We take suggestions.
We have members we listen to.
Right. Yeah. And we have one member that's is changing us a little bit again. We're making some shifts, but we don't know how soon that's going to happen, but it's coming because they said, we need this. We want this. So, but it takes time to develop it all out and bring it onto the platform. But to make the decision to do it was instantaneous. So we're already ahead of the curve because we've already realized the problem. We had confirmed that, yes, that's an issue. Let's go for it. And so that again goes back to my, because you know how I am about my analogies and similes.
I mean that whole analogy piece is like, we're talking about some of our pivots, and there's pivots that cost us $10, $20, $30, $50,000 when we do a pivot for development. And sometimes it isn't the thing by the time we get it all developed, and it never was really what it should have been. We've done that before, but there's one really cool thing about everything that we've done, your analogy and everything we talked about. So you have everything inside of your local business. So your local business, either you're a service area business, if you're a roofer or contractor or something, chances are you're just a service area, or you're a restaurant owner, or you're a barber or salon, or you're a chiropractor, or any industry out there. If you are a local business, there's one key thing that has been the same going all the way back to when I started taking apart Lycos and Alta Vista back in the day, and that is local data and your website data. So if we talk about voice search, we talk about AI SEO, we talk about any of those pieces, or how you can be found on Bing organically, and to be able to get yourself organically found, all comes down to being local SEO. That is the one common denominator across everything. So if you're a local business and you're going to make one investment, invest in the time or invest in someone to enter the data into local SEO, and it's not just Google.
I agree with you 100%.
And it's one of the biggest and most powerhouses. So even when we open up video, where we open up any of these worms that we're going to open up and go down and take our platform to, there's one common denominator at the very end, and that's local SEO is going to power that house. And how that's going to happen, because everybody depends on it. It's the lifeblood of the whole thing. I'm surprised Bing Places hasn't done bigger things than what they've done. I'm really shocked that Microsoft invested so heavily inside of ChatGPT, and they didn't focus on being able to compete with Google Business Profile. They're still lacking in a lot of ways. And if somebody from Microsoft, I know I had a conversation with you in the past, is listening to our videos, I would love to be on your board and help you advise what you guys need to be doing, because there's a lot of stuff. Just like Alexa. Alexa's owned by Amazon, and now I'm going to unplug her because she's going to start talking. I'm shocked that Amazon has not came out with their own local SEO database and for a local directory. There's so many different directories out there. There's so much technology. So if somebody from my Amazon, Jeff Bezos, or anybody wants to have that conversation, you got my phone number. Make that phone call. I mean, it's one of those things to where There's so many places to be able to have it. So back in the day, it used to be the TomToms and the GPS information. That was all local data. We just didn't call it that back in the day. There's so much data on your business that falls underneath local SEO that you could take and turn into advertising to put your business in front of more local customers. That's my biggest tangent that I cannot get stressed enough to every single person watching this video. If you take one thing from it, know that your data has value and it can help you get customers that are searching for the products and services you sell and your company name, which is going to increase your sales. It's going to increase your leads. It's going to increase your profitability because you're going to have better quality leads coming through the door. You're going to have more people coming into your restaurant. You're going to stay in front of them. There's a place and a time for ads, but organic is always going to beat it out, in my opinion, if you can do it. And our platform makes it easy for you to be able to do it.
I agree. I have nothing more to add to that. I mean,
that's probably one of the biggest stresses I do. And if you're not already a member, make sure you subscribe. You can get on for the lifetime access of the platform. Spend the $25. It'll be the best $25 you spent. It's either going to work for you, it's not going to work for you. And let yourself get out there. It's going to be one of those things to where that's the biggest thing I can be able to end with. And I think that's probably one of the biggest parts. So, and for all of you that are members, thank you. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, wherever you might be watching this live stream at. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a member. Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Absolutely, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Have a great night.